He has conquered the box office, survived two of the most explosive divorces in history, and built an empire that most can only dream. But at 61, Brad Pitt is finally looking back with a clarity that only time can provide. In a world full of fleeting romances and broken promises, he has finally admitted the truth about the one woman who stayed etched in his heart, the one he could never truly let go. An admission that shook Hollywood. After years of being trapped in a vortex of rumors, failed relationships, and quiet reflection, Brad Pitt has finally dared to admit the truth about the woman he could never forget. For decades, millions of fans watched the actor live a life of luxury and fame, yet shadowed by deep heartbreak. Behind the calm smile he often displayed for the cameras, there was an emotional secret he never truly shared with anyone. Under the blinding lights of red carpets and the flash of paparazzi, there was one woman who captured his heart in a way no one else could. To Brad, she wasn't just another Hollywood love story that came and went. She was someone who fundamentally changed his life, provided profound inspiration, and left an indelible mark on his soul, regardless of how much time had passed since they parted ways. The journey from Missouri to Los Angeles. Born on December 18, 1963 in Shawnee, Oklahoma, Brad Pitt grew up as a small-town boy with dreams that stretched beyond the horizons of Missouri. He studied journalism in college, but decided to drop out just 2 credits shy of graduation to pursue his fate in Los Angeles with nothing but burning determination. To survive in the harsh city, he worked various odd jobs, including dressing as a chicken for a fast food chain while attending audition after audition. His good looks certainly opened doors, but it was his authentic charm and grit that allowed him to endure the cutthroat industry. His big breakthrough came with the 1991 film Thelma and Louise, where his role as a magnetic drifter stole the world's attention and made him a new idol. Since then, Brad proved he was more than just a pretty face, taking on legendary roles that defined his career as a highly respected actor. Early romances before global stardom. Before becoming one of Hollywood's brightest stars, Brad Pitt's love life was a winding road filled with short but meaningful romances. One of his earliest loves was British pop singer Sunita in the late 80s, before the world knew his name. Years later, Sunita remembered Brad as a very sweet man, even jokingly regretting her decision to split when she saw him become a global heartthrob. Brad also had brief relationships with Jill Schoelen and E.G. Daily, who described him as soulful and obsessed with ambitions greater than himself. There were also dramatic rumors involving Robin Givens and Mike Tyson, as well as a brief date with Christina Applegate that ended in a humorous story at an award show. All these early connections were vital chapters that shaped Brad's maturity before he dove into more serious relationships under the scorching heat of the media spotlight. Juliette Lewis and Gwyneth Paltrow, fading flames. In 1989, Brad met Juliette Lewis, and their intense relationship lasted for nearly 4 years. Brad once called it one of the greatest relationships of his life, though love alone was not enough to conquer their differences. However, it was his relationship with Gwyneth Paltrow that truly captured the world's attention as Hollywood's golden couple. Brad called Gwyneth the love of his life in his Golden Globe speech, and their engagement seemed like perfect destiny. Yet, in 1997, that beautiful bond slowly and quietly faded. Gwyneth later admitted that her father adored Brad and was devastated by the split. The magical proposal in Argentina would always remain a memory etched forever in Gwyneth's heart, proving that even the brightest flames can dim. Still, every heartbreak only led Brad toward the next phenomenal chapter of his life history, the encounter that changed everything, Jennifer Aniston. The story of Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston began not with a burst of fireworks, but with a quiet introduction in 1994 through their managers. Jennifer remembered Brad then as a sweet guy from Missouri who was very normal. Fate brought them back together in 1998 when both were newly single. Their first date felt effortless, filled with laughter and natural comfort. Their red carpet debut at the 1999 Emmy Awards became a symbol of golden love that dazzled the world. Brad spent 7 months designing their engagement ring himself, a clear testament to his deep devotion. They married in July 2000 in a magnificent Malibu ceremony that resembled a fairy tale, with thousands of flowers and fireworks lighting up the California sky. To the world, they were perfection. Two of Hollywood's brightest stars starting a life together in unshakable happiness. Cracks in the perfect fairy tale. For a time, Brad and Jennifer's marriage seemed invincible. They built Plan B Entertainment together, which grew into a powerhouse in the film industry. However, behind the glamour, cracks began to form slowly. In 2003, Jennifer hesitated when asked if Brad was the love of her life, though she admitted he was a precious anchor in her chaotic world. Jennifer's desire to start a family seemed to be the start of a new chapter, but that dream collapsed in January 2005 when they announced their separation after 7 years together. Jennifer filed for divorce citing irreconcilable differences, and the split felt devastating under the world's gaze. Photos of Brad with Angelina Jolie in Kenya became a piercing wound, a cruel reminder that her chapter had closed. The media continued to cast her as the wounded figure in a love triangle she never wanted to play.
The Angelina Jolie era. Passion born from film. The story of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie began on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2003. Although Brad was still married, their closeness on set gradually turned into a deeper bond. Angelina admitted she began looking forward to work just to see Brad, whom she saw as an incredible teammate. After Brad and Jennifer split, Angelina expanded her family by adopting Zahara, and Brad legally gave his name to Angelina's children as a symbol of a new beginning. Shiloh's birth in Namibia in 2006 was met with a frenzy of worldwide attention. Their family continued to grow with the adoption of Pax and the birth of twins Knox and Vivian in 2008. Their chaotic yet beautiful household became global headlines, not just for its size, but for the symbolism they carried. Yet, beneath the grandeur, the seeds of a fragile and complicated story were already waiting to explode. The collapse of the Brangelina empire in the sky. In 2014, Brad and Angelina finally married in France in an intimate ceremony involving their children's artwork. However, just 2 years after the seemingly happy wedding, Angelina shockingly filed for divorce in September 2016. The decision was cited as being for the health of the family following a violent incident on their private plane involving the children. Although investigations found no evidence of abuse, the fracture was permanent and irreparable.
They were declared legally single in 2019, but custody and financial disputes dragged on until 2024. The dispute over the Chateau Miraval winery they once loved still binds them in court today. What began with laughter on a film set ended with legal filings and deep heartbreak. Their love, once considered the most glamorous in Hollywood, left long shadows that are difficult to fully erase. Searching for peace with Inés de Ramón. After the storm of the split from Angelina, Brad stepped very carefully back into the world of romance. He was briefly linked to Neri Oxman, an intelligent architect, and German model Nicole Poturalski, but these relationships were fleeting. Brad seemed to be looking for someone who could provide an intellectual challenge beyond Hollywood's superficiality. In late 2022, Brad began being seen with Inés de Ramón at a concert in Los Angeles. Unlike previous brief connections, the bond with Inés seemed to deepen over time. They celebrated Brad's 59th birthday together, and friends noticed how bright his mood was around her. By early 2024, Inés reportedly moved into Brad's Los Angeles home, and their relationship is described as stable and affectionate. For a man who long hid his private life, walking the Venice red carpet with Inés showed he finally found new light. Jennifer Aniston, the chapter that never truly closed.
The past has its own way of enduring, and for Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, the echoes of their time together remained long after the marriage ended. In 2007, Brad admitted that he and Jen maintained a deep friendship, a shared life that could never be erased. Their warm reunion backstage at the 2020 SAG Awards sparked a fan frenzy worldwide. One hug and one smile were enough to awaken old hopes. Although Jennifer insisted they are just friends, the tenderness in their interaction tells a story of a bond that remains preserved. Jennifer once admitted she would always love Brad and cherished the 7 intense years they shared. To many, Jennifer Aniston remains the big question of what if in Brad Pitt's life. Their relationship, now full of respect and silent solidarity, reminds the world that true love may never truly die. It just changes form over time.